Lesson number 3, Sports. Sports. Activity 1, Enjoy the poem. Dreams by Esther Samuel. Dreams, dreams, dreams. Dreams of people, dreams of trees, dreams of land, and dreams of seas. These are the dreams we generally see, children. We see the dreams of people, we see the dreams of beautiful natural scenery, we see the landscapes, and we see the dreams of seas also. Dreams to grow big, dreams to grow rich, dreams to prosperous, and dreams of peace. So whenever we see the dreams, children, it always gives you a positive vibes, isn't it? We generally try to see the dreams which we want to achieve in our life. Dreams of the country and its growth, dreams of love and dreams of hope. So when we generally see many a times we see also the growth of the country, we see the dreams of love and the dreams of hope also. Dreams, 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 dreams that all dreams come true. Activity 2, children, you can try to do it by yourself. Moving on towards the activity 3, here are the descriptions of games which often confuse us. Study the information given below. When you see the 3 images given on this picture, children, you can see all the 3 of them are wearing the same costume, isn't it? And somewhat whatever their actions they are doing, we feel that it is one kind of game only, but they are the different 3 kinds of form, 3 different forms of game. Let us understand what is that, children. The first one is Taekwondo. It is a modern martial art characterized by the fast, high and spinning kicks. So you can see spinning kicks, children. Fast, high and spinning kicks. Taekwondo means the art of kicking. So whenever you see in the video or anywhere in the picture, when you see the kicking part and the punching, or the art of unarmed combat means to fight without any kind of weapons, children. Whenever you see, the sport originated in Korea, is one of the most popular modern martial arts. So it was originated in Korea, and it is one of the most popular art among the different types of games. Moving on towards karate, children. What is karate? It is a hard form of martial art of Japanese origin. So the first one is the Korean, it is a Korea origin, and the second one is from the Japanese. It is a striking art using punching, kicking, knee and elbow strikes on the opponent's body. So remember, here you are using punching, kicking, knee and elbow. With the help of knee and elbow, you strike on the opponents. Opponents means the one who is standing before us, the opponent's body. A karate practitioner is called a karateka. Moving on towards third, judo. Judo is a gentle form of martial art, again of Japanese origin. Its most prominent feature, the important feature, is the competitive element, where the objective is to throw an opponent to the ground and immobilize or subdue an opponent. So what is the most important aspect of this judo is that you have to throw down the opponent, and you have to he should not move, he should not mobilize you. The person has to immobilize the opponent. That is the form of a judo. Activity 4, have you heard or read something about disability sports? Read details of such sports. While sports have values in everyone's life, it is even more important in the life of a person with disabilities. So have you ever thought, children, our all body parts are working properly, isn't it? So we can run, we can move, we can do whatever we like. But what about the people, those who are having disability, what they can do? This is because of the rehabilitative influence sport can have not only on the physical body but also in rehabilitating people with a disability into society. Furthermore, sport teaches independence. Nowadays, people with a disability participate in high performance as well as in competitive and recreational sports. So remember, children, now the people have come forward, the society has come forward, that not only the people, those who can do all this thing, but even the disabled people can participate, or even they can be a competitive sports they can take part, and even in the recreational sports also they can take part. The number of the people with disabilities involved in sports and physical recreation is steadily increasing around the world, with organized sports for athletes and disabilities divided into. So now more and more people are coming forward with this disability. They are not remaining back. They are also coming in a competitive world. Three main disability groups sports for. So the disability is divided into three groups, children. Which are the three groups? That is sports for the deaf. You can we have to think about the deaf also, children, because they cannot listen. Sports for the person with physical disability, so if they are having any kind of physical disability in their body. And sports for the person with intellectual disability, with the brain, they cannot use their brain. So that kind of sports also is organized by the sports committee. From the late 1980s, organization began to include athletes with disabilities in sporting events such as the Olympic Games and Commonwealth Games. So you can find this kind of games in the Olympic Games also, and in the Commonwealth Games also. However, many sports are practiced by persons with a disability outside the formal sports movement. For example, wheelchair basketball. Can you imagine, children? The disabled people can play even the basketball also with the help of a wheelchair. Wheelchair dancing, weightlifting, swimming, and many other sporting activities you can join if you are mentally or physically disabled. Do you like this idea of having a separate sports for the disability? Write your comment in this box. Now, imagine different sports and games for the disabled people and complete the table. Here I have given the answers. Kindly copy down in your textbook, and in the next box that you can do it as a homework. Now moving on towards activity 5, here is an experience narrated by a scuba diver. Scuba diving is a water sport. Scuba diving is a form of underwater diving in which a diver uses a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus to breathe under the water. So it is very important, children, whenever you are doing scuba diving, because we are going under the water and you don't know how deep it is, you need an oxygen, because the oxygen level becomes less when you go to the underwater. Unlike other modes of diving which rely either on breath holding or on air pumped from the surface, scuba divers carry their own source of breathing gas, allowing them greater freedom of movement than with an airline or diver's umbilical and longer underwater endurance than breath hold. So if you are going slightly deep, then you can breath hold and you can go. But if you want to explore the entire underwater, children, you need a oxygen gas also, bottle also along with you, in which the breathing gas is scrubbed to remove carbon dioxide, and the oxygen used is replenished from a supply of feed gas before being re-breathed. Let us read a scuba diving experience. Let us see one of the writer who has experienced scuba diving. Let's see what he felt of the scuba diving, how he experienced, what good experience or what bad experience he had while he was doing scuba diving. Some people are scared to try scuba dive. Some people love this sport and always find their excuses to go somewhere only to dive. Is this sport has some similarities with my favorite food, durian? Either you love it or you hate it, or just don't have the courage to try it, children. So the writer is telling that some people like to do scuba dive, the other do not. Some they try to, they enjoy so much that they try different places for that, for the scuba diving. So the writer compares the scuba dive with a fruit called durian. This durian is one kind of a fruit, children. From outer it looks very bad. You will not try to attempt to open it, but because of its smell. But when you open it, the flesh in the durian is very sweet. So the writer wants to tell, writer is comparing the scuba diving with durian. Either you love it or you hate it, or just don't have the courage to try it. Some people love it, some children hate, some people hate it, and some people do not have courage to do that. I had been thinking to take a course on scuba dive months ago, but wasn't sure as I'm scared of snakes, sea snakes. Thinking about it makes me sick and all frightened. So I was about to take a course, because before you go underwater, children, you should learn different kinds of symbols when you go inside, because you alone cannot go inside the water. Instructor also will come along with you when you go in the scuba, for the scuba diving, and where you have to learn special symbols when you enter in the, because you cannot talk in the water. Even if you talk, the person will not understand, so you need to learn some kind of symbols so that instruction can and instructors can understand you. So the writer is telling that he was thinking to go for a 1 month, before a month before scuba dive he wanted to go for a course, but he was very scared of the snake and the sea snakes, and he was very sick and frightened. But then I was so curious why people love it so much. They all say that under the sea is like a totally different world, yet a beautiful one. So the writer was curious when he heard that the people, those who have gone for the scuba diving, they have a very good experience, and they say that it is a totally a different world. What we see from here and from inside, it is totally different world. So he wanted to give a try to that, and for that I am taking my risk and try to overcome my fear of the possibility of bumping into a sneeze. Yay, you can laugh at me. So even I'm trying to overcome my fear. I wanted to do it by anyhow, because I wanted to see something different from the land. So after taking a private lesson from a diving instructor, I went to an island. Here is my first experience. First dive 12 meters depth. Tried hard not to panic. So before, whenever we do anything challenging, children, we are always panicking, isn't it? We are very scared. What will happen? What will happen? So the writer tried that he should not become panic. He should not get worried. What the hell am I doing? I said to myself. What if something bad happens? But I kept a positive thought. It's going to be wonderful experience. Just do it. Then I synced myself and went down deeper and deeper. So first of all, many negative thoughts came into my mind. What if I bump into a sea snake? What if anything wrong goes? What if I die inside the water? Many negative thoughts came into my mind. But then I myself consoled myself, and I told that be positive, think positive, and then I jumped into the water, and then I went deeper and deeper. I could feel my heart beats. You can experience, children, when you become very much, when you are very much worried, when you are so much panicking, you can hear the heartbeats, isn't it? I could feel my heartbeats fast and my ears hurts as I went deeper. Following my diving instructor, I equalized my ears often until I felt comfortable to explore the underwater. So you have to keep everything, you have to be very peaceful when you are underwater, children, because otherwise you cannot enjoy. If you are underwater and you are worried, you are upset, you are getting anxiety, then you cannot explore the underwater. Suddenly all around me was green. It felt like living in a green world. Really, as far as I could see, everything was green. I saw some corals. You can see the corals also picture in the image, children. Big ones. Some of them look like giant mushrooms. I saw some sea urchins. Urchins are some kind of creatures in the water. And lots of fish hiding in the sand. I was enjoying the scenery all around me until my instructor waved at me with her hand, holding a pink fin. What? That pink fin looks familiar. I thought, and yes, that's my fin. So I was enjoying so much. The writer is telling that he was too much involved in exploring all the things, that he was seeing the greenery in the water, he was seeing the corals, he was seeing the fish and the urchins, that he was so much involved in that he forgot that he has lost his pink color fin. You can see in the leg part, you put that fin like a fish, no? So that fin has been moved from his leg, and he did not realize that he was without the fin until the instructor told him. Yes, that my fin. Ha 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 ha. I did not realize that my right fin managed to release itself from my right foot. So the writer was so much enjoying that he did not realize the right fin has moved from his right foot. I was almost to choke from laughing with the regulator on and the mask attached on my face. So that was the first dive. In total, we dove 5 times in 2 days. So he enjoyed so much. Then he totally became happy, and 5 times he went inside the water. Managed to dive up to 18 meters. Remember, children, the first time when he entered the water, how much? It was only 12 meters deep. Now he went 18 meters inside, and during these 2 days he went 5 times. The next dives were smooth and for sure I did not lose my fin. Hey, hey. Was so happy to see different types of fish swimming in front of me as if I was invisible. The sea definitely looks beautiful underwater, and it really amazed me to realize that there are thousands of creatures living under the sea peacefully. It was indeed so peaceful down there, so quiet, all I could hear was only my breath. Breathing in, breathing out while enjoying the green world and its inhabitants around it. Here I would give the slogan, the jingle of the advertisement, children. डर के आगे जीत है. So whenever you are thinking that it is very dangerous, you cannot do it, something skillful, something you want to do it, encouraging one, something thrill you want to do in the life, forget about the fear, children. You try to overcome the fear and you try to do it. You will really experience the same way as our writer has experienced. Activity 6. This is the strong story of long ago gone era. In the century of country of India, nearly 5000 years back lived a boy named Eklavya, the son of a tribal chief in the forest of the kingdom Hastinapur. Eklavya was a brave, handsome boy. He was loved by all, but he was not happy. His father saw that something troubled Eklavya. More than once he found his son lost deep in thought when other boys enjoyed the pleasures of hunting and playing. One day the father, here is my Guru Dakshina Drone. Now here is the end of the story. Eklavya said, I am happy that you have made me your disciple even if I am a mere Sudra hunter. The sage was humbled. He blessed the young archer for his courage. Eklavya, even without your thumb, you will be known as a great archer. I bless you that you will be remembered forever for your loyalty to your Guru. Drona declared and left the forest. He was moved and grieved at his own action, but he was content that his promise to Arjuna was not broken. The gods blessed Eklavya from above, but despite his handicap, Eklavya continued to practice archery. How could he do so? When one is dedicated, one can even move mountains bow with practice. Eklavya could shoot arrows with his index and middle finger, and he became a greater archer than he was ever before. His renown spread far and wide. When Drona came to know this, he blessed the boy silently and begged for divine forgiveness. And true to Drona's blessing, Eklavya is still praised as the most loyal and brave student in the epic of Mahabharata. We know all about Eklavya, isn't it, children? He learned, he used to hide and see that how Dronacharya used to teach Arjuna and Kauravas, the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And he learned so well that he became a good archer, most good archer than the Arjun. So Dronacharya did not like, because Dronacharya wanted that Arjun was one of his best student in the archery. He did not like anybody else, though he knew that Eklavya used to see and he had imitated everything what he used to teach Arjuna. But he did not want that Eklavya want to be greater than Arjuna. So he asked as a Guru Dakshina his right thumb. He was knowing very well, Guru Drona was knowing very well that without the thumb he cannot do the archery. But even then he asked him and blessed him that you will be remembered for him. Later story you know very well, children. Till today we know Eklavya very well as one of the greatest archer in the world. Moving on towards Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar is probably the most famous and popular sportsman in India. He has become a public figure but has managed to maintain dignified, mature outlook, remaining aware of his responsibilities while protecting his privacy also, children. So here is the great thing about Sachin Tendulkar is we come across, children, that though he was a most famous person, Sachin Tendulkar at a very young age is known as a master blaster, children. At a very young age he got everything in his life, but then what he learned is that he always kept himself as a matured, and he always understood his responsibilities and also protected even his privacy. Let us see how he protected his privacy. When he married Anjali, a doctor and friend from his childhood, he rejected large sums from satellite TV for a live coverage. Can you imagine, children? The media has offered him a large sum of amount, children, a large amount of money to Sachin Tendulkar, but Sachin Tendulkar did not want that money. Instead of that, he wanted to keep his privacy with his own people only. He did not want to include everybody outside, and he did not wanted that amount of money also. He knows his worth, and over the next few years, in endorsement are worth 75 million US dollars. He was knowing that he will get more than this for his endorsement. Endorsement means, children, for the advertisement or for the ads he has promised. But he is not a grabber. He is not a grabber. Grabber means he was not after the money. He did not work for the money. His father, who was a university professor, taught him a sense of work ethics. So he was always work ethics, children. He believed in the ethics, rules and regulation. He always follows in his life. That is why one of the greatest reason that he has been very successful in his life. Sachin Tendulkar was born in Mumbai on 24th April 1973. Since childhood, he was a trodden and very steady and almost inevitable path to greatness. In school at Sardashram Vijay Mandir, he got an opportunity to bat for hours in a competition for under 17. Harris Memorial Challenge Shield. He scored his first century for the school at the age of 12, and since there was no looking back. Can you imagine, children? At the age of 12, he started his cricket career, and from there he never looked back. He was 16 years and 205 days old when he made his test debut in November 1989 in the National Stadium in Karachi. The very next year, he hit his first test century at Old Trafford, Manchester. My God, he has hit his first century at Old Trafford. This century was an example of an exercise in technique, concentration, and application beyond his tender age, and it saved a match being lost. So, here it shows that, children, how much dedication he had or how much passion he had towards the cricket, that this small age at this small age he saved a match which was about to lose. Had it come 31 days earlier, he would have been the youngest century maker in test history. So before, if 31 days before, if he would have gone for this match, then he would be the youngest person in the cricket field to won the match. He went to Australia, where they still talk in awe of his centuries scored in Perth and Sydney. Children, here I have given the answers of the match the following. Kindly copy